In the floating sky castle of Valarian, where clouds curled like silk around ancient spires, and the stars lingered even in daylight, there lived a quiet wonder-worker named Aelindra. She was a collector, not of gold or trinkets, but of whispers, soft-spoken longings, forgotten dreams, and secret wishes found their way to her ears on the wind. She captured them gently, storing each one in a magical book inscribed with silver ink that shimmered with the soul of the wish. The castle's library stretched far beyond what the eye could see, filled with volumes that hummed softly when touched, each book alive with enchantment. Time did not move in this place. Seasons waited patiently at the windows, and clocks bowed to the rhythm of Aelindra's work. On one such twilight, while the great hall slumbered beneath its blanket of stars, and the candles flickered with contented sighs, a stirring, unlike any other, brushed across the folds of Aelindra's senses. It was not a mere murmur of hope or a gentle longing. This whisper quivered with ancient purpose, aching to be heard. Then, as if in answer to a question too long unspoken, the twilight deepened. The hush that fell over the floating halls was different, thicker, expectant, like the moment before a page turns in a well-loved tale. In the breath between stillness and magic, a peculiar whisper curled through the air, soft, trembling, and ancient. Aelindra reached for her quill to record it, but the wish refused to settle. It danced and pulsed, swirling through the chamber like a storm of stardust. From the highest shelf of the Library of Winds, a heavy tome bound in midnight blue leather and starlight slipped free, gliding down like a falling feather. It landed gently on the marble floor beside Aelindra, who stood motionless beneath the towering window of twilight. As if guided by unseen hands, the book opened slowly, its pages parting with a sigh, releasing a golden light that pulsed with longing and fire. The wish, too powerful to be written, burst from the pages in a blaze of light and flame. From its heart emerged Serendax, the last of the celestial dragons, long believed to be only myth. His wings glistened with runes of forgotten languages, and his eyes held galaxies. The air shimmered with awe and uncertainty as the dragon's presence filled the once quiet chamber. Aelindra's breath caught in her throat, not from fear but recognition, as though she had waited her whole life to meet this moment. The books around them whispered their approval, rustling softly like leaves in a midnight forest. The very magic of the library, long held in balance, stirred anew. Serendax unfurled his wings slowly, casting long shadows across the marble floor. He dipped his head toward Aelindra and spoke in a voice both thunderous and tender. "I am Serendax, last of the story keepers," he said, "called forth by a wish too powerful to remain silent." The ancient bond between dragons and stories, between fire and ink, was awakening once more. Serendax's appearance was no accident, but a ripple in a greater current pulling at the edges of destiny. His presence breathed life into the prophecy buried in the heart of the library itself. Aelindra gazed at the mighty dragon in awe. The chamber deepened with silence, as both dragon and collector turned toward the very core of the sky castle, a sealed passage hidden behind the tapestry of unwritten tales. The air felt charged, the very stones seeming to lean in with anticipation. Aelindra and Serendax stepped forward together, drawn not by curiosity, but by knowing. Serendax let out a low, echoing breath that shook the walls of the sky castle. "You heard it too," he rumbled, voice the timbre of mountains shifting. Aelindra, wide-eyed but calm, nodded. For in the library's deep chamber, a book older than the stars had begun to glow. a book that could only awaken when prophecy stirred. Together, they descended into the chamber that no one living had dared open in an age. The book floated, its cover of woven constellations pulsing like a heartbeat. Aelindra placed her hand upon it, and the pages turned on their own, revealing a prophecy. That when the last dragon rises from a wish too strong to contain, the collector must ride into the forgotten corners of the world to restore the lost stories that held the balance of magic. Aelindra looked up at Sarandax. "The prophecy says I must ride with you." Sarandax nodded solemnly. "The balance of magic has begun to fracture. Stories once told to protect the world have been forgotten. Without them, the threads of reality unravel." Aelindra's brow furrowed. "But why now? Why me?" "You are the last collector," Sarandax replied, "and I, the last story-keeper. The library called us together for a reason. It is time to remember the stories the world has forsaken. Time to mend the seams of magic with ink and fire." She touched the glowing book one last time. "Then let us begin." The sky castle lingered, like a gleaming jewel suspended between stars and dreams, its towers radiant with the soft glow of 1,000 enchanted books. From the highest turret, Aelindra mounted Sarandax's broad back, the dragon's silver scales shimmering beneath the moon's tender gaze. With a powerful beat of wings that stirred the clouds to dance, they soared into the endless twilight, two silhouettes etched against the canvas of the cosmos. Below them, the world spread vast and silent, a tapestry of stories waiting to be uncovered, whispered wishes yet to be heard. Each journey brings a new whisper, a new tale to bind within these walls, Aelindra murmured, her voice woven with hope and resolve. Sarandax's deep, rumbling breath stirred the stars as they glided beyond the reach of the sky castle's light. Together, they would chase the unseen, gathering fragments of forgotten dreams and stardust memories to fill the ever-growing library, a sanctuary of magic where time stood still and the power of books could weave worlds anew.
Be sure to enjoy our next tale. Hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to catch our next post. Thanks so much for watching.